Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now ever since it launched I've been pretty obsessed with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I remember seeing the announcement trailer and thinking, wow, my PC is not going to run this. I'm sure I wasn't alone. In the last few months things have changed, not only in terms of content updates but performance updates as well, and Flight Sim 2020 is now far more inclusive of thousands of lower end hardware configurations. Something I'm very grateful for is the inclusion of a native 480p mode. That's right, if you can't run it at 720p and 800 by 600 is still too much for your system to handle, then you can drop things all the way down to 640 by 480. Messing around with the render scale slider would probably be a good idea beforehand, as you might not have to go to such extremes for the performance you desire, but it's good to know that an entry-level setup should be suitable for exploring the entire world in all its low-res glory. In fact, here is how a few of planet Earth's famous landmarks look with this resolution in combination with the low settings. As I said before, this is an unnecessary adjustment, especially if you want to maintain a widescreen aspect ratio, because you can adjust the render scale and if you want to, take it all the way down to 383 by 215. Beautiful. But why stop there? Why not select 480p, native, and then 30% res scale for a glorious 191 by 143 experience? Apparently we're in a rainstorm above Ireland, but who really knows? Most games will need additional tweaking from within their respective configuration files in order to run at resolutions like this, as I previously demonstrated in my 72p video, but Flight Sim 2020 lets you turn one of the most beautiful games ever made into a pixelated mess straight out of the box. So how does this impact performance? Well, with 720p low, our game is playable at 30 FPS on average. The game still looks fairly decent, and considering we've got no graphics card installed, this is pretty impressive overall for the Ryzen 4300GE. So what do we gain by turning things down lower? 800 by 600 gives us 15 more frames per second. Instead of choosing native 800 by 600, I'd recommend selecting 1080p or 720p and then choosing a lower res scale to once again maintain a 16:9 aspect ratio and a sharper HUD. Dropping things down even lower again to the lowest native supported res 480p means a 55 FPS average, though we do still get drops to around 30 and below every so often. Interestingly, we don't gain much by dropping to 30% of 480p, just a few more frames, and we still experience the same drops which could be caused by the CPU side of things now. The same can be said for 30% of native 720p or 383 by 215. There are no real performance differences. All in all, running Flight Simulator 2020 at 480p is going to turn one of the best looking games around into a bit of a mess, but those of you with weaker hardware or old monitors might just benefit from this often overlooked and perhaps unnecessary resolution. And that's all there really is to this video. Now, I didn't really know what to do with this information. I fired up Flight Simulator on this PC, and I've only recently discovered that it had a 480p option. I'm not sure if this has always been the case, but it is nice to know it's there for anyone wanting to experience this game and not having the hardware to quite run it at HD. But There we go. Do with this information what you will. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll be back with another hardware review very soon.